Hi, everybody. It's Amanda. I hope you guys are enjoying these zero waste modules. Today, we're going to talk about reuse. This is part 6 in our 10-part zero waste education program called the Ecology of Zero Waste. I'm really excited to talk about reuse since I work at a creative reuse center called the Repurpose Project. So when we talk about reuse, we really encourage people to buy durable, quality items. And we want you to do that because they'll most likely stay in use for a really long time. And that's what we want. We want our stuff to last a really long time. But when you are done with your stuff, we do want you to donate it to the local reuse economy, maybe a thrift store or a creative reuse store, because that allows other people to use those items. We also want you to buy used. So think about the next time you really do need something, whether it's clothes or a book or household items or supplies for a project. Think about buying used. And this all helps form the circular economy. We need people donating, but we also need people buying used. And this is what we're talking about in the reuse economy: the durable goods, the desks and furniture and building supplies, the household items like the cups and the plates and the real silverware, sporting equipment, appliances, furniture. These are all the things that we want to be built to last a really long time. And we want all of these items for you to keep in your household as long as possible. But if you do need to buy something, consider buying used. So the hierarchy of highest and best use is something that we follow as zero waste professionals in all of the work we do. So you can see it's an upside down triangle for the most part. And the sections on the top are where you want to focus most of your attention. So for this zero waste hierarchy, the top portion is rethink and redesign. So I've already challenged you guys to rethink, to really pay attention to the resources you use, the resources that are needed to make the food that you eat and the clothes that you wear and the desks and the chairs and the binders, everything that you use day to day. You know, redesign is a really important one, and we've touched on this too, because in zero waste systems, we want everything to be reusable, recyclable, or compostable. And if it's not, we want those items to be redesigned so they fit into the zero waste system. Well, the second level of the zero waste hierarchy is that dark green bar. It's reduce. So we really sprinkle in information about reduce in all of these modules. It's a very, very important part of the zero waste system. But the third part is what we're talking about today: reuse. Reuse is so incredibly important to a zero waste system. We could not get to zero waste if we don't keep our products and packaging in use for as long as possible and reuse those things. But as far as the hierarchy of highest and best use, so that concept is the fact that chairs should be chairs and used as chairs for as long as possible. The same thing with your clothes or a t-shirt. T-shirts should be t-shirts for as long as possible. There was a lot of energy and resources that went into making that t-shirt and that chair. So it benefits our economy, the climate, and the earth to use those items for as long as possible. But when you don't want them anymore, maybe that t-shirt could be used for another purpose. Maybe you could turn it into a reusable bag. And when that's at its end of life, maybe you could use that parts of the t-shirt as cleaning rags. And then when that shirt is actually really done with its life, if it is made out of 100% natural fibers, it could be returned to the soil because that t-shirt was made from cotton. Cotton is a plant. It grows from the earth. So that is what we want: this system where we use our products for as long as possible, for as many purposes as possible, and then we return those resources to the earth, or we use them as feedstock. So in the example of a chair should be a chair as long as possible. Even if you don't want your chair anymore, hopefully somebody else will want your chair. They'll buy it in the local reuse economy. If the chair is broken, we should get it fixed. If the chair needs to be reupholstered, we should get the fabric changed. But at that chair's really end of life, where you can't repair it anymore, the chair should be broken down for its components, because those components are resources. So that chair might have some metal in it. It might have some wood components. And then, of course, it has the fabric, which might be synthetic or natural. So when a chair is truly at its end of life, it should be broken down for the different components or resources. And those resources should be kept in the system and used as the building blocks for the next chair that needs to be made. And that's what reuse is all about. That's what zero waste is all about. So reuse encompasses not just reusing your stuff or donating your stuff or buying used, but includes repair. So have you ever had your phone break or your computer break or a rip in your clothes and thought, oh gosh, I've got to replace this? Well, consider repairing it next time. Repair is really a great thing to do because it helps our products last a whole lot longer. It supports the repair economy, meaning people have jobs to repair stuff. So we should go to them and support the local repair economy. You know, bike repair is a big one locally because a lot of people bike in Gainesville. The other thing with clothes, we should mend clothes, meaning sew up that rip or fix clothes in some way so they last a long time. So repair is really important, and it is part of the reuse system. And share is another one. Across the nation, these tool lending libraries and library of things are popping up all over the place. And what they are, it's similar to our regular book library because you can check things out here, but they're not books. They could be tools, yard tools or power tools. The library of thing has just about anything. So maybe it's a stand mixer or a blender or another kitchen appliance. So the thing about sharing is that maybe we don't all need to own a bunch of tools or small appliances or other things. Maybe instead we can just check those things out when we need to use them. So that's part of the share economy, and it really is part of the reuse system. So we can't talk about reuse without talking about reusables. And this is really important to understand that our everyday items that are not necessarily considered durable goods like furniture, we should use reusables as well. So this is everyday items like your water bottle, silverware, a reusable bag. I encourage you to use everything that's reusable and not use things that are disposable, like bottled water, like a plastic fork, a disposable face mask. There's a lot of things that we can use that are reusable, like a cloth bag if we're going shopping, or real silverware if you know you're going out somewhere and they're going to have disposable silverware. Or one thing that is so incredibly common and easy to do these days is a water bottle, maybe a metal water bottle, any material. As long as you use it over and over and it lasts for years and years, you're doing your job to help the earth. So you've seen this graphic before, and we will probably see it again, but this is really what we're trying to create, this zero waste system, this circular system that's just like in nature, where we keep resources in use. And reuse helps that a lot by encouraging people to keep their stuff a long time, selling used goods, promoting repair and share of a lot of things. And then when things are at their end of life, we can deconstruct them, like the example of the chair, and we can use those resources as building blocks to make new items instead of going back to the earth and digging up those natural resources that we want to conserve and not use as much. So this circular system of zero waste is really important. It's really the building blocks to all of these modules. And this one really focuses on reuse. So for this lesson, we learned all about reuse. And the goal really is to understand what a big part of reuse is to zero waste. And I want to encourage you to consider buying used next time you need something, whether it's clothes or a chair or household items. And also think how something can be used or reused or repurposed creatively instead of throwing it away next time. And then if you do need something, if you need to buy something new, I encourage you to do your research and really think about buying something that's durable and will last a really long time. All right. Thank you for learning all about reuse. The next lesson, we're going to learn about why it's so important to waste less food. and then compost your food scraps. And you guys are already champions and heroes of this, but we're going to take a bit of a deeper dive next week on that. So thank you very much.